Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Headspace Podcast. This is the show where we talk about new-ish hip-hop albums, break them down track by track, give our thoughts and opinions, keeping in mind that we are some regular people who just started doing this, and we're going to keep doing it, and we learn as we go. My name is Holden Stephan Roy, or HSR.
My name is Chris Chrome.
And today we will be talking about a relatively interesting album by the name of PSYCHODRAMA by an artist whose name is simply Dave. Before we jump into it, and you can check the description of the video to see when it starts, may I just state, of all of the names of all of the artists we have covered, Dave is bold, and I like it.
Why?
Because it's so simple. It's not Dave the this. It's not David Banner. It's just Dave. That's like strong. I don't know why.
Okay.
It's a powerful, regular, normal name. Anyway, just to let you know, you guys coming here are probably going to be far more familiar with Dave's music as a whole as we are. I know Chris has heard some of it before, but in general. So bear with us. We're Canadians. The UK scene is something relatively new to us, and we're just curious people who want to grow. So on that note, we totally encourage your comments. Every video, I'm going to come answer you in that comment section, and we take it as a learning experience so that when Dave drops his next project, through all of your great education points, because his wiki page is like this fucking big. So if you know shit, you can we tried to Google. So you can drop knowledge about Dave, you can tell us stories about seeing him live, you can just correct anything we say that sounds stupid. We can have a whole conversation, it'd be mad dope. On that note, we like to read our favorite comment at last week's episode, and last week we spoke about Dizzy Wright and his album Nobody Cares Work Harder, and true to that, it was one of our poorest performing episodes in a long time. It appears that I was one of the few people who seemed to care, so nobody seemed to care that much, as he works harder, and he worked really hard. On that note, I'm saying serious, check out the album. It might not be the greatest thing ever, but it was a really interesting thing to listen to. It adds to the credence that hip-hop is not dead and that there is great content out there for those who don't believe it. I gotta give Dizzy Wright his serious credit. I was highly interested in the album. Anyway, nice. On that note, Lindell Williams dropped this comment. The album is somewhat of a nice listen. Some of the beats didn't suit my taste. I can get where he's coming from. It's a bit of an all-over type. However, the concepts were on point. Your score of 4.41 is right on the mark. I feel the I Make Sure song stuck out to me the most. I think that's why he saved it for last. To me, it felt more what he is musically. Damn it, I clicked away. Give me 1 second. And not so much the pop-sounding stuff he threw on the album as a draw. He'll eventually get his props and great review. Thanks, Lindell. I always like hearing shit like that. You can also tell me it's a trash review if you think that. I'm also into that stuff because it's good to get the truth. But yeah, we really, really do care. And before we jump into it, it's always important to give a special thanks to the patrons. Ismail Gadamsi, Chris Prado, Super Old School 1994, Carl J, Lindell Williams, same dude. Anyway, I think we have a bit to talk about today as we discuss Mr. Dave. So Chris, why don't you tell the Google Analytics scan bots what we are talking about one more time?
Well, for today's Headspace album, episode 119 is
That's a lot
Dave's
of episodes.
PSYCHODRAMA.
You ever at a certain point you actually just side note you stop caring what episode it is?
Yeah.
You cared 50, after 100 I was like whatever. And then we started doing bonus episodes. So wow, 119 of our official weekly count. That's fucking dope. Yeah. That's more than 2 full years. That's crazy. I digress. This is the part of the show where we like to contextualize our familiarity with the artists. I'll go first because I have less to say. I saw Dave on the Hip Hop DX website about albums that came out because nothing came out that I thought would be to review or whatever. In terms of, not that nothing came out, that sounds cold. Nothing really caught my eye as I was looking for new rap albums that I felt would be fun or interesting to review, or I had a reason to do it, because just reviewing some boring shit to me isn't fun. So I cherry pick stuff that I would at least have something to talk about.
Right.
Then I came across Dave. I played the first song of this album. I was like, done. We got it. Dave, let's go. And I'm like, Chris, Dave. And he's like, I know Dave. And I'm like, how the fuck do you know Dave? Who the fuck? And then Bonnie, she's like, I know who Dave is. And I feel such like a left out loser here who just never heard of Dave before.
Actually, we did a Gigs album that Dave features on.
Oh my gosh, now I feel stupid.
So
I know who Dave is.
you may have heard him in passing, but I know who Dave is just because a really good friend of mine has introduced me to like the newer UK rappers like Dig Dat, and well, he it was one of the songs that he was on, and then I kind of just engulfed myself into UK rap for like about a month and a half now, and a lot of them kind of work together, and that's how I stumbled upon Dave.
That's cool. So Chris is a bit of a Dave fan. I'm now a Dave fan, spoiler alert.
But I do want to contextualize, this is my first actual, like, I don't want to say that I know who Dave is. Like, I know him as a feature, I know him on certain songs, I know what he can bring, but I don't know, this is the actual first album I've sat down and really got to know who Dave is.
At some point, I'm going to go back and, like, watch that review and see what I said about Dave, and if I said some shit like, I'm going to check out his music one day, and then have this moment, I'm going to feel so fucking dumb. But still, we are here with Dave, and I would have lived up to my word if I did say that, because we're doing this album. But it's really important to me to just contextualize to y'all how familiar we are, because it really impacts your perception of an album. If you're a big Dave fan, you know his whole story, everything he spits on this shit's going to mean more to you than somebody who's maybe just discovering it for the first time. And I know this album's been out for a few weeks, but in my knowledge of this album is about 24 hours now, maybe 2 days tops that I know of its existence. So that's another thing to keep in mind. This is basically like a chain listen to it a lot to understand it. I haven't had as much time to check it out as y'all watching it have, even though technically I did. Anyway, now we're just jibber jabbering.
Yep.
The name of the album is Psychodrama, which is a cool combination, especially because it's I believe the first and the last song names just kind of stuck together. So you get the idea that it's going to explain maybe some of the drama in his life and the psycho side of his life. You know, we're going to get like, I don't know. I just got the idea it was going to be some real storytelling, real like passionate shit just off that title. And I love his flaming fucking blue head as he's just sitting there. It's literally fire.
It's pure flame.
Hey, no, it's nice because it's blue, right? So it's
right, but isn't like the blue part of a flame, isn't that the hardest part, or is it the top? Or
I don't know if that's actually true, but I know that's how it goes in terms of saying. But yeah, I like the cover because it's sparse, it's simple, and you just kind of like staring at the fiery head of him. And
so you'll remember it. Like I feel like you'll remember the cover, and maybe not the psychodrama, the name of it, but you'll remember his
looks
head.
Like I feel like the psychodrama. I know it's not designed like that, but it kind of comes off like stars in the sky, spelling out psychodrama, just because like this is my imagination going, but because of the colors used
or the ashes.
And the ashes kind of like fade into the background like that, so it's kind of nifty. I like it. I think I don't know how much I'm gonna remember it because it is just nice to me. But it works. It's a cool because it kind of lets you know a little bit symbolically that maybe he's feeling hot-headed or there's a lot going on, or like it kind of communicates at you. So I want to give him his full credit on actually coming up with an album cover that suits like the title and really flows. Because sometimes I just see covers and it's like, okay. Or sometimes you'll see covers and I'm like, you try real hard. Like that, like Logic one, where it's like you tried real hard.
Oh, with the
everyone.
Last Supper.
It was just whatever. Anyway, what do you think?
I wanted to just make it. Well, I like the art. I like the design. It's beautiful. I mean, the coloring is great. I like the blue flames, how it's taking over his head. I agree with the hot head comment you made. Again, like the ashes and the stars, and that's all cool with the psychodrama. What I wanted to comment was, I like how. He created like a genre, like a psychodrama. Like if you were to watch this type of series, this type of movie, like a thriller, a thing, a da-da-da-da-da. And then, yes, I like how he encapsulated the first and the last song as like the beginning and the end, kind of like emboxing the whole album together. Just talking about like right now I'm just talking about the track list, and I feel like this kind of sparked a little bit of a conversation within myself. Like sometimes when you look at the track list, there's a way that it's designed and put together that it's supposed to be it's part of the whole package. And I like how you kind of look at it and it feels like a diary chapters, like just like how it starts with psycho and ends with drama. It's like everything's like a diary chapter, and everything's kind of like a different story. So I do agree also with the storytelling.
All right, well, why don't we talk about the songs? And the first one, as you may not know this, but it's called Psycho.
Girl wanna shoot a cover for Vogue, which is pretty ironic because she's top of the range.
Damn. This is how you start an album, I guess. If you're gonna call a song Psycho, there's a few ways to spin it. and he chooses to talk a little bit to us how he feels as a person on this one. I mean, you get a little introduction with a little therapy session, dude. And he's here with David. It's Tuesday, the 23rd of January, 2018. Maybe that's the day he's recording it. I don't know. It's his first session, so it's, you know, you kind of doubles as both like the studio being like his therapist in a sense. So it's good imagery. I got it, but it's cool because it's almost like he's in a lab and he's like old British dude. I like British accents. It's fun for me to hear British rap just because it's all new. So don't expect me to know all the slang. I'm in Canada. We don't have it here. But I'm loving learning about it as we go. And then, yeah, so it's like the therapist is like, yo, what are you dealing with? Where should we start? And he's like, look, stop out of pain. How do you stop out of pain? I used to hear a voice when I was praying, but nowadays I don't even want to be saved. Nah, fuck that. I don't want to be saved. I was born to be wild. I don't want to be tamed. And that's just powerful, right? Like, shit's kind of fucked up and chaotic and shit in his life. Or that's what he's kind of implying. Pain, things are bad that are going on. And he used to want to be saved. He used to maybe want to escape it, but now it just seems like he's totally willing to embrace it. He was born to be this person, so fuck that. And then drops one of the dopest, arrogant puns I've ever fucking heard. Talent's in my blood, but I don't want to be vain. Whew, that's arrogant, but it's flossy. That's a good line. I like it a lot. But if I'm a psycho, then I don't want to be sane. And it's interesting, right? Because, like, mental health's a big topic in life now. And sometimes you wonder, like, if maybe, like, I make art, and I'm not gonna lie, going through some dark-ass shit has only fucked me up, but also made me produce some hella well, I mean, I don't know if this podcast is the most interesting thing to you, but the fact that, like, we're able to produce shit, you know, like, do I want to give that up? Do I want to go see a person and get some pills and normalize and go be a good pleb in the fucking machine? Nah, man. So hearing this to me...
Just because that sparked a question, do you think that that's also maybe just based on your own creativity? Like, you could also kind of take, like, you know, a different route. Let's say if you were to take pills or something for your whatever you have, and you use that to explain new music, like how you're coping with pills, how you're doing medication. I mean, like, that's also part of...
I think that would be boring. Then you're the other guys going, I popped a Zanny. And then you're like that group. That is what they're doing. You just described half of hip hop right now.
Well, I like to believe that there's a difference between I'm out here on a Saturday popping 3 Zannies and I'm out here on a Monday popping a Zanny because I need it.
I don't see a difference. I mean, there might be one little difference. A doctor told you to. But how do you know a doctor didn't tell half these rappers to start popping their first Zannies?
Maybe.
I mean, I'm certain a lot of them were told by friends or a lot of them got high.
Yeah.
But, like, there's got to be some of these dudes that never touched it until, like, somebody gave it to them. Anyway, that's not really the point of this.
Fair.
But, like, I, from my life, look at it like at some point in time, I probably could have saw a shrink and got diagnosed with a thing and then ended up with some shit going on. But that sounded like it would kill me and who I am, because then you're changing fundamentally who you are with chemicals to be something else. Instead, I wanted to learn how to live with who I am. So what I hear in this is that, like, almost like some shit I can relate to as a person who, like, I felt this song was super relatable. That's why I just fucking wanted to start, because I don't know where Chris was gonna go with it, but I thought this one was like super relatable to me personally. I like it hit me in a lot of like if you checked any of the poems I put out recently, it's a bunch of anxious bullshit, and like I feel like this guy's just like an articulate version of some of the things I've been feeling, you know. And he's just dropping like he's dropping some dope shit, like easy as the alphabet, 3 G's in the ring, call me Alvarez. My teacher used to say I need counseling, couldn't stop me asking what do you feel. There's so many old scars they want to reveal, you know, like some real shit. Like, I mean, we'll get into his environment on other songs, but I like how he's just kind of starting talking. And plus, he like flips up the flows as the beat flips up and shit. Like when all of a sudden he just starts talking about wanting a girl and shit later on in the song, and it's just really fucking strong. But like he really just flows. Like he lets you know where he's from. We're from Southside, but it's Streatham over here. No telling if you're selling, hold the wedding over here. So, you know, just a little bit of a context to where he's from. And in general, it's like it's just there's no chorus, right? It's like the stream of consciousness barrage, and I was really enthused with it as he flows into the end after putting a lot of things. He just flips into how suicide isn't worth it. right? Like, I know I kind of like done it, but it's like suicide doesn't stop the pain. You're only moving it. Lives that you're ruining. Thoughts of a world without you in it, hiding. I ain't a psycho, but my life is. And I like how he gets to the end part there. Or like, deeper insecurities, life. What if I don't have a legacy, money? Why they check for me? Mummy lost respect for me. Anyway, all sorts of shit like that. But to culminate to this point where it's like a little bit like you might wake up feeling like you want to kill yourself. That might happen in your life. I mean, it's normal sometimes when you're coping with a lot to question some dark ass shit. I don't know if that's normal, but it's normal when you're going through some dark ass shit to maybe want to question some things like that. Doesn't mean you're anything. But it's not like, life can be fucked up. Sometimes you question your purpose and all that. And I feel like what Dave, with his most ordinary of names, has done is created this really relatable and super honest breakdown of, like, I guess his emotional state. But I bet many people on their different grinds, just trying to find their path in life, can kind of get to this. And, like, get to that point where it's like, but nah. Regardless, accept that shit inside of yourself because it's fuel almost, right? It's part of who you are. It might not be great, but it's part of who you are, and suicide is not the answer. And then at the end of the day, I'm not psycho, but my life is. And I think that's really what it culminates. What a way to end that. So, like, if I think about my life, maybe I could have gone and seen a shrink and been prescribed shit. And, like, my dad got prescribed with some shit, and, like, it fucked him up. I watched him kind of use it as a victim card, and I seen a lot of people. Maybe a lot of people need some shit. I'm not trying to discourage it, but for me, I felt like maybe there was a better way to use art or something to cope. That's what I did. And these podcasts and shit like that, like, by having a purpose, it's easier to live. And I feel like a good way to describe my life right now is I ain't psycho, but my life is. Sometimes the environments you're in make you feel a certain level of ways, and you're just trying to get to a place where you don't feel that way. I don't know, man. This shit, with its crazy beat that just kind of updated as the song went, but maintaining the tone and everything. Yo, like, I don't know, like, I feel like if there was a checklist of, like, I'm sorry, I forgot to say he's a really good rapper too. He's on point. I mean, I'm so distracted by what he was saying, but he's, like, on point, and he changes his rhythms a lot, and he just fluctuates, and he hits the beat like this guy is A+, man. Like, I don't know how I've never heard of Dave. Sorry, Dave. For 4.75 on 5. I'll be real with you. There's a little bit of a something just, I couldn't put this, maybe it's just too heavy. Right, but damn, this is a great song. I'm definitely gonna hear it again, and I'm really kind of like, there's not a lot of albums where I feel like you started and you're like, wow, like, just wow is the best way to kind of describe your feelings. Like, this dude is just so real and regular, and nothing's glorified, and nothing is, like, over the top. Nothing is grandiose. It's a guy who is spitting the facts that are his understanding of reality. I guess this is some really hip hop shit. Is what I'm trying to say.
Well, it's funny you say that, and I'm only saying this because of, like, my recent experiences, but they're all kind of like that. Like, a lot of the other British rappers that I listen to, the other UK rappers, they have that same type of, like, directness, kind of, like, nonchalant, like, this is what's happening. We're just real about our shit. We're really like. Yeah, you have your, like, very flashy diamonds, and, we're out here chilling or whatnot, but they're even in those type of songs, at least the ones that I've listened to, in those type of songs, you still get that sense of, like, there is, it's authentic. Like, the authenticity is there more than I feel that there's authenticity in a lot of, let's say, like,
let's call it pop hip hop. Chris hasn't listened enough of the underground shit, but there's a lack of authenticity in commercial music. That's what you're looking for.
Yes, exactly. I like the song. I think that I agree. I think it's a really good way to start the album. First off, with the intro, I like how he's starting it in kind of like this, therapy session. And I like how he structured the whole verse, the whole track, as just him introducing himself to the therapist.
Yeah.
And it was really, really cool because not only is he introducing himself to the therapist in this way of like, well, I'm here to talk about my issues, not really just be like, hi, I'm Dave and, you know, I'm a good kid or whatever. It's like, I'm giving you the raw emotion and the raw sense of what I'm saying and how I'm feeling. And he's allowing us, the viewer, the listeners, to be part of that session, which was really cool. You get a sense that, you know, I do agree, you get a sense that he is kind of embracing his psychoness, if you want to call it, his thoughts that he's kind of using to be very creative. You know, I have a line here. I used to hear voices when I was praying, but nowadays I don't even want to be saved. Nah, fuck that. I don't want to be saved. My ex-girl want to shoot cover for Vogue, which is pretty ironic because she's top range. If anyone of you take a shot on a track, might come back and put a shot in your frame. Like, you kind of already see, like, he's real about what he's saying. He's kind of dealing with, like, you know, paranoia. He's feeling like if anybody kind of messes with them, he's got shooters in a sense. He's kind of chilling with, like, the top range women, so they're already, like, really, really pretty, and he's already kind of living that type of lifestyle. But I feel like there's this type of disconnect that you can kind of hear in his voice, like, just he doesn't really sound like he's even happy about what he's doing. Like, he doesn't really want to glorify what he's doing. He's just kind of talking about it, which was really cool. I liked another part near the end where he goes, my teachers used to say I need counseling. Couldn't stop asking me, what do you feel? There's so many old scars that they want to reveal. We got off on the wrong foot because I don't want him to heal. And I like how he says,
hold up. This dude's 20? I just looked it up. He's 20?
Yeah.
Okay, go on.
I like that because it so there's like two, for me it's kind of like two parts. So when he goes, we got off on the wrong foot because I don't want him to heal, I feel like he's playing the role of, like, he's kind of like interpreting what the teacher might want to say. Like, the teacher doesn't really care or want the kid or Dave to heal, but at the same time I feel like he's talking to himself in third person, where, like, he acknowledges, like, he doesn't even want to heal. He's still kind of like, oh, I'm fine with being broken. So that was really introspective as well. You know, he's kind of really real when he drops the whole part that his dad wasn't around, and that he left. So you kind of already feel like there's some type of, you know, maybe father figure issue that he's dealing with. You get the sense that he had to step up at some point and do some things. So it was a really nice introduction to Dave as a person. A lot of the songs I listened to before are more like, again, more kind of like mainstream poppy, like flashy, out here, this is what we doing. This is more on like a personal, this is who Dave is. For me, it landed at a 4.2. I like it. I think it's good. I do find some parts relatable, but it's just a little, and I'm gonna say softer side, just because, like, I'm more into that, like, the more aggressive, heavier type of hyper music that I've heard so far. So that's just my own thing.
All right. Well, why don't we talk about Streatham? Streatham? I don't know.
Streatham.
Whatever.
Or Streatham.
We're done.
For shooting, and Ram's done a madness charting. So the man got something in common cause.
All right, so the place that we struggled to say the name of, Streatham, is a district in South London that he's from. And we know that because of, well, personally, Genius Annotations. Thank you, Genius, for always providing us with annotations.
The song itself kind of, like, gives you that.
I'm certain I could have Googled it and also learned that, but still. I grew up in Streatham. Teachers was giving man tests. Same time, them were giving out testers.
Hey.
So, I mean, that's an interesting, like, bluntness, right?
Yep.
So, basically, while the teachers was giving us the Pythagorean theorem, the dudes on the block was giving us the drug version of the Pythagorean theorem. That's fucking real, right?
Right.
And then, whatever, I got ping things, giving man stress. I don't know what that means.
Women, like, really attractive women. Peng is, like, lavish.
Okay.
Slang for
I ain't
that.
got to sex it, message, or text it. That's true, because he's Dave, and he's probably getting mad girls at this point. As he's told us. That's why I'm saying that.
Yep.
I don't want to do you and I. Now, that's dope. The way he does you and I, that's because you and I, but it could also be, like, you and I. Like, you know, like, he doesn't want to, like, stick it in like that. But I'm like Hester skipping my lectures. We used to ride around all like reckless. So I thought that was just an interesting, clever little pun there. And it just starts off strong. This one's about where he comes from. So what did you think, Chris?
I thought it was actually really cool. It was this is more the type of track that I like. The beat's more trappier, we could say, more kind of got like this more the drum feel. It got that 808 popping. So it was great. It was really cool. I really liked it. This is more, again, like you can tell. This is more of that grimier feel in terms of the flow, in terms of how he's spitting the bars. So this is more on that aggressive side that I like. And I'm not saying that this is all like, run up and kill him and blah, blah, blah. No, it's not even about the context. It's about the content. It's literally just, you can hear that there's more of like an aggressive, more like in-your-face energy coming from this track. Now, as we know, it's practically the song where he's putting his city on the map. That's what he's basically doing out here. He's trying to just explain where he comes from and give us his environment. Something from verse 1 that kind of stuck out to me was stolen peds, that's Geely and Vespas, and the feds called my broski restless. Said he got a charge in a car, no Tesla, and everybody round me rowdy. I walk in, tell the jeweler, wow me, I'm talking about peas, just allow me, 19, I put 19 on an Audi. He's just bossing right now. Like, that's just straight flexing. Basically, I don't know what like stolen peds and Geely and Vespas are. I think those are cars.
Sounds like his brother getting arrested.
Right, but his brother does get arrested.
That's not flossing, though. I just wanted to point it out. He kind of. So what I took from that is stolen peds, that's Geely and Vespas. I don't really know what that means, but I'm gonna click on the Genius. It sounds like they're stealing shit, and the feds caught him. And then he said he got a charge in the car, no Tesla, because that's a good version of a charge in a car. And a bad version is like when you're in a car and you catch a charge. Everybody around me rowdy, so all the people in my world are kind of crazy, rowdy, fucking, got a certain thing. I walk in, tell the jeweler, wow me. Maybe that one's a little flexy, because you can just walk in and be like, impress me with your finest wares, yo, jeweler. If you're talking about peas, which according to Genius is money, just pounds. Allow me, which is allow me. I've never heard anyone say it like that. I've never myself heard anyone say it like that. I'm like, okay. That's because Drake went and hung out there for a while. That's why Toronto would say it. Because Drake probably said it. No,
Drake took it from the UK.
That's what I just said.
But Drake didn't bring it to Toronto. They were saying it before he was there.
Anyway,
or like before.
Then you're right. This next line is flossing. At 19, he put 19K something on an Audi. Okay. Anyway, go on.
I think it's more. I find it was dope just in terms of like a boss status. Like he's trying to give us like his how they're moving out here. I do agree that his brother getting or his bro getting arrested and stuff isn't really a ballin' thing, but it's part of like that kind of that realness, authenticity that he's trying to bring to the table.
I'll give it to you. If you want to say he's got authenticity, boom. I'm saying that to me wasn't flossy. It was more boss-like. I'll give it to you. Flossy.
Fair enough. Choice of words. And then I feel like in verse 2, it kind of got a little bit more real. Something that really stuck out was, man are dead or in jail. That's useless. Tell you if you've got a brain, then use it. Now I drive past man I went to school with. You was the cool kid. Now you look clueless. Friends of enemies are enemies, and enemies of enemies are friends. And that's just really getting that depth, gritty into really what his society is.
You skipped the fucking Coke to Coke bar.
Okay. Say it.
I'm still trying to tell man fuck the Audi, because apparently the Audi TTs for some reason is cocaine. I don't know why. That's what Genius told me. And then Benz sounds like that benzo whatever shit that you cut the coke with to make the crack. So by taking it, fuck the Audi, make your real money in the crack shit when you try and make it out the ends. So therefore, that drug dealer shit, be smart about it. Don't be fucking dumb selling the coke. Get into the real money. And then friends of enemies are enemies, and enemies of enemies are friends. That's just some art of war shit.
Yeah, it was dope. But
I stole your thunder. I don't want to be an asshole.
None did. Nothing. But I do like how he's kind of expressing, like, mans are already dead or they're in jail. Like, it's the two only real options they have. And the fact that also I kind of like how he's trying to be out here, like, tell the young ones, the youth, if you've got a brain, then use it. Like, he's trying to be, a little bit giving advice, and he's trying to, like, change, I guess, his community or whatnot. So overall, I do really like the beat. It was really hyped up. It was energetic. He's crazy flow on this. And it's not like, double time or like quick effects. But it's a new type of style and just type of realism that's part of it. So I gave it a 4.5.
Fair enough. I really liked it because I feel like it's about describing his reality a little bit more. So in the last one, we got his mental state, where he's at in life. And in this one, he's just kind of describing... I found it very matter-of-factly, again, and he was just going through kind of his surroundings, shit like my young G done draws in eights. Now he's cutting through bricks like the 118, and I ain't on indirects diss me, and I take that personal. How you gassed off a note, that's purple. But you never get it off wet like Virgil. So I get the sense there. The first part's about dudes around him selling drugs and shit, and he's like, yo, if you come at me, I'm going to be authentic with you, and how you going to imply I'm anything but fresh, because I'm always on point. That's what I took from that. Maybe I'm wrong. And in general, it's just like, I liked when he said, that's war-witted German, Winston Churchill. There's just no way anybody on this continent is coming up with that line. And I thought it was cool because it made me, he's dropping history bars to prove how dope he is as a strategist. And I'm like, yeah, that's the difference between having Canadian heroes, I guess, in the UK, having that. Overall, I felt like the second one was kind of like about upgrading life. And he's trying to like tell people as he's watching people he's blowing past, right? Like he is excelling because he's applying these different methods to life. And he wants other people to do it, but maybe they're not. But he told me, he's on me when he sees me. I barely remember why we're beefing. I was like, damn. So he's got people in his life that fucking want to take him out, and he's like,
the dealer. In that verse, is the dealer.
Right, but like it was more. I was saying the fact he doesn't even really remember what the fuck we're happening from, right? So just that kind of world that you're in. I guess if you've just got enemies for being successful because in your world you've got the bullshit education system versus drugs for actual money in your life and shit. I don't know, man. I think it's a really honest way to like just break down a bunch of shit. I thought it was super interesting to listen to, good beat, and like I felt like it wasn't flossing to a point of like excess. It wasn't glorifying. It was more in line with talking about what he knows and where he comes from because it's fitting into building out the situation for his psychodrama that is his life. And yeah, I thought it was dope. So I gave it a 4.5. I liked it.
Nice.
What'd you give it?
4.5.
Fair. The next one is called Black.
Corner shopping, trying to help a lady cross the road to have her walking off. Black is growing up around.
This one is a pretty interesting look at like what it feels like to be a black person, or what it is to be black, I guess, in the UK. But it could, I guess, also be in America. It seemed really familiar to... The story seems like pretty similar compared to what the American version seems to sound like. But, damn, like, there's... Every line just kind of paints, like, another picture towards it. Where you get to the end of the song, it feels like you get a bit of a landscape of what all the different little things that it means to be black. As opposed, like, just stuff that really is, in some cases, quite jarring, right? Like, it's working twice as hard as the people you know you're better than because you need to do double what they do so you can level them. Black is so much deeper than just African American. Our heritage been severed. You never got to experiment with family cheese because they teach you about famine and greed and show you pictures of our fam on their knees. I mean, I never really thought about that, eh? I mean, I'm supposed maybe I should have, but like, just from my education. So like, what it must be like to go to school, especially in the UK, colonial England type shit, and watch as history is being told from all these white dudes who's enslaving black people, and you're looking at pictures of, I guess, just always broken black men. You know, I bet there's not many pictures of black heroes up in those history books, you know? Meanwhile, so like everyone else gets a sense of their culture and shit, we know that black history is definitely something that's under attack. I'm not so much that black history, I don't really like the term, I like history, but let's say the history that involves black people doing anything good in life is conveniently forgotten in a very systematic way. It's really fucking scary, actually. Like, we're seeing it in Quebec, where I come from. Literally. In our history books, it's like black people don't fucking exist. I'm not even lying. That is the 2018 version of a textbook they released for the young kids. So that's some real shit, man. Anyway, the blacker the berry, the sweeter the juice. A kid dies, the blacker the killer, the sweeter the news. And if he's white, you give him a chance. He's ill and confused. And if he's black, he's probably armed. You see him and shoot.
Yeah.
Like, damn. You know, like I know it. I mean, I don't have a lot to interpret here. He's very clear on what he's saying. He's putting it out in a very direct way. This is what I see. This is what I feel. And when you think about think about life from a point of perception, and that you and another person can see something, and like I said actually earlier, to justify our podcast a bit, if you've been a fan of Dave forever, you're gonna fucking feel a certain way. I basically was saying the same thing as I'm saying now here. This is his lens that allows him to see the world through this. And then like the second verse, look, black is growing up around a barbershop, mommy saying stay away from trouble, you're in the yard a lot, studying for ages, appreciating the chance you got, because black is in your blood and you ain't even got the heart to stop. That's crazy, right? Like, you gotta work all this hard and keep it focused, because at the end of the day, you can't escape being black. You're just black. Black is doing all the. Black is stepping in for your mother because your father's gone, and standing by your children when you haven't proven karma wrong. Black is doing all of the above, then going corner shop and trying to help a lady cross the road to have her walking off. Black is growing up around your family and making it, then being forced to leave the place you love because there's hate in it. People say you fake the shit. You never stayed. Anyway, it just goes on and describes kind of his experiences. And then there's an entire fucking third verse about how black people are being misrepresented. Black is not divisive. They've been lying, and I hate that shit. Black has never been a competition. We don't make this shit. Black is deadly. Black is when you're freezing in your home and you can't get sleep, but you never feeling empty because you got 20 cousins in your country living stress-free, walking for their water, daughter wrapped inside a bed street, you know. And it goes in to kind of show some more heritage. But what really, really got me was black is people naming your countries on what they trade most: Coast to Ivory, Gold Coast, and Grain Coast. Like, you know, like you hear the names.
But most important, to show how deep all the pain goes,
West Africa, Benin.
They called it.
No, but like,
Coast.
Especially Cote d'Ivoire, it's still basically the Coast to Ivory. Like, that is the name of the fucking country.
Yeah.
It never clicked, right? Like, that was. So, Dave, you're teaching me history. Thank you, sir. And this kid's 20. And dropping wisdom like a motherfucker. Black is so confusing because the culture, they're in love with it. They take our features when they want and have their fun with it. Never seem to help with other things we know would come with it. You know, I hope we are perceived like that. But like, yo, I really appreciated all the realness in this song. Like, it's songs like this I think are super important in times like this, where maybe many people who are bigots, by hearing a thing like this, or the I'm Not Racist by Joyner, and all these things tacked up, plant seeds like how Jesus preaches, where you plant the seeds in the parable and it grows up and whatnot. So this is amazing. This is an incredible, like, this is next level, man. This is like, I really hope that Dave blows the fuck up. This is a 5 on 5.
Nice. You quoted like everything.
I know.
That I agreed with.
There's like almost the whole song is quotable.
No, absolutely. And it's not even a bad thing. This song itself, I don't really have much to say about it because it's really just straightforward. Like, it is a really great, powerful representation. At least I feel, of what, you know, I guess black people have to go through, and at least from Dave's perspective. And it's again, that rawness, that authenticity, the way he says the word black, the way he puts emphasis on certain words on this song, it really speaks to you, and it really hits you on certain parts. And you know, some parts I could see like kind of relating to, you know, maybe America or whatnot, and like kind of relating to just history in general. And then some parts are kind of maybe just relating to him or whatnot. But yeah, like, I wish I had more to say about this song, and I wish I had more to quote instead of quoting the entire track. But it is really just super raw and authentic, that it's self-explanatory when you listen to it. So honestly, I'm just going to say I suggest everybody takes a moment to listen to it. I apologize if this feels like a cop-out with not having anything to say, but it's the honest truth.
I mean, the song really is written almost from a point of brevity. And I feel like Dave is very clear, so there isn't like this deep poetic analysis required. I just know that maybe like it's just really powerful shit.
For me, I left it at a 4.7. I do think it's great. I do think it's very powerful, but this isn't like an automatic 5 on 5 to me.
I don't know, man. I mean, part of it is just what I want out of music, right? Because you all want something out of music, and
Right.
what I want out of music is social activism. I want to see all the protesting energy of people smashing buildings and looting, and I want to see people dropping songs like this instead, and everybody collectively moving towards building together. So, man, I'm just inspired by what I heard in that song.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, you know what happens when some fucked up shit goes on in war? I think that's what it is. The Purple Heart. Is that what the Purple Heart medal is? Some fucked up shit in war. That's a medal. It's a war medal, no?
We can Google it next.
You're my wish into a shooting star. After hours, you're my movie.
Chris, how do you feel about this song?
I like it. It's a good song. I find it's kind of
Last
like
time I
this-
talked too much, and then you're like, "I got nothing to say." So I was like, "All right, Chris, go for it."
No, I do like the song. It's a very kind of softer song than what we've already gotten. It's a different type. It's a kind of a different side of Dave. So this was very interesting. For me, I kind of felt like, when he goes, "I got a purple heart. You've got a purple heart. You think my work is art. I think you're a work of art. But girl, I can't lie. You're a gem. And I ain't even talking about the star sign. You're my superstar. You're my wishing to a shooter star."
That's romantic as fuck.
Like, that's what that kind of encapsulates the whole song to me a little bit. Is just he's kind of
He's a sweetheart.
divulging his affection for this woman. I don't think that this is somebody he's in like an official relationship with. I think this is somebody he's just like deeply got a connection with. They kind of ride together. They kind of engage in sexual actions together. There's some type of sexual connection as well as I get from the song.
She says, "Sir, that chick is down to ride. Any chick that calls you sir, you keep that girl."
Right? So, I mean, again, it's pretty straightforward, the song itself. I didn't really get much from it. It was kind of short, very sweet, to the point. So, it was cute. 4 on 5.
I appreciate that maybe having a super dense, heavy album is heavy and dense, and you want to break it up. And I also think that this is kind of painting a landscape of his life. So the girls come into it. And I've noticed that when talking about your life, it's hard to not talk about love. If I were to give a full picture of my life, I'd have to also include these topics, I suppose.
Mm-hmm.
But this is well done in the sense that there's an authenticity and a creativity to it where I feel like it stands out compared to most of the other girl songs. Like, it doesn't feel like a bunch of cheap planes. Like, look, let's pour another drink and numb the pain. Starts off kind of like whatever. Emotionally detached, she said, "I'm numb to pain." Again, it sounds like all the other versions of this song, only that you believe them because you may have had a moment that's exactly like that in your life.
Right.
You're asking what it's like to love. I told her love's a game. You learn that love is pain. You learn to love the pain. And I'm like, okay. No, we're getting good with this one. This is like, yo, I've been broken, but I think it's still worth it. This is just my view of this shit. Then he had what Chris dropped, which is like this beautiful, like, flirting, macking shit, where he's like, I'm broken, you're broken, you think my brain is dope, I think your body is dope, I think you're gorgeous and amazing, and these corny-ass shooting star lines. After hours, you're my movie star, pop star. I've got you singing like a rock star. McCartney, she's interstellar, like Jupiter, like whatever. So he flows on and he talks to her for a while until he's like, "Can you do it like the last time?" She said, "I can, sir, but I ain't talking about the star sign." And I'm like, all right, that's cool. So he smashes her and she's great. And it's like this little, like, you get the sense that it's these quick moment of passion. It's almost like something new, something exciting. And he just is fixated on her. And I like the line, "You've had a couple boyfriends but never had a man. I'll catch him at a traffic jam, red light, Amsterdam if he tries to disrespect." In a sense where, like, he is a higher quality than the average boys that she's been fucking around with. I liked it a lot. I thought it was cool as far as these songs go. I got a 4.35. And I appreciate the most the therapist session part at the end. where he points out how important it is to have someone you can trust, especially when you're feeling a little fucked up. And if you're able to find like positive things in other people's life, despite the challenges, that's pretty good. And it's like he's sharing that with everybody, and it's important as part of the bigger picture. But like, compared to Black, it's like okay. So I give it a 4.35.
Nice.
All right, the next one has a title that is really straightforward, and I know exactly what it means. Chris, where's the location? This one features Burna Boy and has a lot more of like a Caribbean feel to it right off the jump.
It's like the radio song.
Yeah, I guess. I don't know what the radio song for the UK scene is like, but what did you think about this one?
It was okay. It was cool. It had this poppy feel to it. It was energetic. It was kind of more on a positive note, on a positive vibe. Like I've already said, I feel like this is the radio track where everybody just kind of like plays this at a party looking to kind of have a good time. Something that's said on verse 1 that kind of gives me the whole idea is this year about vacations, flight catching, train taking, soon as my off probation, your boyfriend's on a waiting thing. It's like right there I kind of feel like, you know what, once his friend comes out of probation, they're gonna go party, and he clearly states like he's talking to a woman, your boyfriend's on a waiting thing, you know, she's not really talking to the boyfriend right now or whatever, so she's having a good time with them. I like how in verse 2 he kind of explains how he's like the leader, and that if there's a bad ratio at this party or wherever he's at the location, from men to women, then he's just gonna leave. He'd rather be at a party with I'm assuming a lot more women there to have more fun, have more good time. But that's pretty much the whole context of the song. There wasn't really anything really deep about this. It's just send me the location when you know, I'll pull up, I'll be there, girl, and we're gonna have a good time, and you know, me and the homies are all gonna chill. Burna Boy does verse 3. I thought it was cool. It was pretty simple. It didn't really say much. It was kind of like, you know, he's got diamonds, he's got weed, he's smoking up, he's having a good time. Girl kind of calls him, making sure he's going to be on the way there. He says he's pulling up at the party now. So, you know, it was an okay track. There wasn't really much to it. I gave it a 4 on 5.
Yeah, I mean, this is definitely on the more vapid side of stuff. It's not that his rhyming is bad. Like he's witty and he's kind of like smart with it. Like, send me the location. This year about vacations, flight catching, train taking. Soon as off probation, your boyfriend's on a waiting thing, etc. So, you know, like there's a narrative. It moves forward. It's just okay. So he's meeting a girl, or no shade. What shade is your foundation in? Darkest gray. The shade I'm in. 49 more if your babes wants in. So, I mean, he made a 50 Shades of Grey pun for a threesome line. I guess that's something. And it ties into his overuse of the word shade, which is really actually well done. It's just kind of like, okay, so he's famous and has status, so girls chase him, and he likes that. And then the chorus is there, and it sounds good. So, like, check it as like a party vibe where I know he's going to get his dick wet because he wrote this song. Like, I totally get it. And I know a lot of people are going to dance to this, and there's a lot of, like, barbecues and shit where I bet people are going to really, really fucking dig it. I'm not the biggest fan of it in the sense of like the lyrics, but if I think about it from a vibing perspective, like I just want to go dance with the girl and have a good time perspective, this song really fits nice.
It's a good club song.
I don't even know if it's track. Like, I'd say it's got a good vibe to it. It's something for like when you want to go dance.
Festival, like an outside beach party.
Like when you're going to dance. That's what I think. It's got a good, slower, dancey vibe to it. It's nice. Everybody sounds proper, and everything just is exactly what it's supposed to be. But, like, considering some of the fucking standout songs on this album, this one almost feels like a radio play, I guess, or something like that. So I give it a 4.25. As far as this kind of song goes, it's really well done. It's above average in a significant way. It's just I'm not as interested in it as pretty much, like, this might be my least favorite song on the project, just for, it's like, even the last one, he was creative about how he approached that girl. And this one, like, his creativity was really just, I'm going to rap about, like, all the regular rapper shit, and I'm going to do it a little bit better. And that's what I felt about this song. Even fucked your girls. He even managed to fuck your girl. Anyway, that's fine. I don't know who am I to judge on that shit. It's just what I like and what I don't. Either way, sometimes it feels like you talk and then it's a disaster.
I'm blinded by love while I'm winking at you. I'm thinking out loud so you know I'm always.
So apparently Jay Huss is in jail at the moment. He's serving an 8-month sentence. And so that's a fun fact, I guess, for everybody about Jay Huss. I don't know who he is. I know they collaborated back in the day. I feel like I'm a little ignorant on the history of the guy. But like literally right there on the Genius page it said it, so I shared it with y'all. So second collaboration. What I do like is more as the song progresses, they start kind of really going back and forth, like doing a couple bars here and there and flipping it. And once the song starts doing that, I'm like really fucking into it. The chorus though doesn't do a whole lot for me, mostly because I feel like I don't fully understand what the fuck I'm listening to. I did learn a zubi. A zubi? Like, you gotta understand, I never heard that word before in my life. Apparently that's a doobie. Did you know that doobies and zoobies are the same thing? Well, that's what I just fucking learned today. So, like, I mean, I kind of, like, I like listening to it. I enjoy hearing it. Like, came on a Rambo ting, everything camouflaging, looking like a bulletproof vest, not as just a body warmer. Okay, it's a big puffy jacket. We got those up here. I mean, it sounds fine. Big man gossiping. There's nothing worser. I swear I'm the father of them man. Bring something larger for them man. Disaster. Like, it's fine. It's a chorus. And Edinburgh, I did know that was pronounced like that because of, anyway. So, like, it was cool, but then that verse kicks in and it just fuck beefing with babies, catch them out raving. We're taking your paper, your yak, and your ladies. Fist fight, this bitch bites like it's rabies. Drop your baby, catch him from there. I'm standing here, bumped into Dave by the Santander. And it's just like you're picturing them both at this event. And it's like, oh, Dave's here. All right. And then this song happens and it's just fucking fun. And I don't know that it goes too much into a lot of things that I thought were like super significant and like quote worthy and I could really deep dive. But there's this overall semblance that they're real. They're not into the fake people in their environment. And there's great lines like I'm with the born chasers, or I'm with the cash grabbers. I'm doing mathematics, automatic, never static. And she don't know my real name. She thought I was Patrick. Sit back and smoke like a baseball bat. And then Dave kicks back in. Sorry, that second part was the other dude. And then you think this is the life, but it ain't all that. I've done some evil things that I won't take back. So it's like they have this combination of like swag and like my life is fucking amazing. But they also let you know there's a cost to this, and there's like a reality aspect to what they're spitting and what they're kind of dealing with. I really liked when he goes, I got nothing for a fed, copper in your head, and that's the definition of a penny for your thoughts. When he said that, I was like, ooh! I did like some of those more stereotypical excited noises where Bonnie looked at me like I was fucking crazy. I like this track. I feel like it flows on through. It's pretty fucking dope. It's got a lot of interesting, well-written lines, like a kid in a divorce, I'm leaving with your spouse. Okay, that. If you're gonna fuck my girl, be creative like that, alright? That's what I'm trying to say. It's good. I enjoyed listening to this. The hook was a little bit long for me, but in general, it felt like a really enjoyable song, and you kind of get the sense they're not to be fucked with. So I gave it a 4.35 on 5.
Nice. You do get the sense, I got the sense that they're more kind of like freestyling a little bit. Like, maybe this was written, but I got like this energy from them. Like, they really kind of, like you said, they were just at the same spot, and they're like, oh, yo, you're here, let's make a rap track. And then, boom, they kind of just, the energy fed off of each other. So it was really cool. I like when, I think Dave goes, Mummy, I got a flight to catch, all for an internet gangster or a cyberman. Mike Myers, man. A couple tried to try him, man. My boys put stars in the hood like I'm Strider, man, I know. Like, it's really cool. And it kind of continues just because it was part of the bar. People wearing rollies, doing life in can. Isn't that ironic that they couldn't find the time to plan? Like, wordplay is on point here. The energy is coming out really cool. I don't think they're dissing anybody. I don't think there's like anything like directly attacked anybody, but they are kind of just showing like they have the movements, they have the control of what they're doing and what maybe their squad's kind of moving like. Jay Huss says at one point, Man try to live this, never knew he had a clitoris. Have man for breakfast, talk about hit list. I bring the fire, you liar and a backstabber. I'm with the born chasers, or I'm the cash grabbers. So that was pretty cool as well, a line. And it's kind of that same like energy back and forth between both of them, which I really, really enjoyed. But again, there isn't really much depth to this track, so I just have to go with a 4.2.
I don't know if there's not a lack of depth. It's a lot of context painting. It's a lot of wit. It's a lot of puns. But I feel like there's depth in the sense that in the same way that Streatham paints this picture of where he's from and the environment, he kind of uses each, like even the same way with Black, like every lyric paints like a brush stroke, and when you're at the end of the song, you're kind of like, okay, I get what the fuck it's about. I get the sense of what you're delivering to me, even if you could, and then you can kind of focus in on the different lines, kind of communicate distinct ideas. I don't know, I see depth in this one. Anyway, that's fine. Let's talk about how London of England, not Ontario. We got you, London, Ontario, Canada. What? Anyway, Screwface Capital.
That we beef for your chest like Sergey did a G lean on your set. I do not have one knee.
I feel like we haven't talked enough about the beats at all. They're all pretty good. I feel like if you like, they're like that combination of traditional hip-hop meets trap pretty much the whole way through the album, I'd say, except for that Caribbean flair, where you got like that newer flair, but you also got that slower pace, like it's about the rhymes feel to it, like in this one, the sparse piano kind of kicking in, or that little voice in the background, but it's really just nuancing so that he's going to come in and rap. I'm bad at describing beats. So yeah, Screwface Capital is apparently London. He comes from London, and I feel like this is just another track where we're getting a sense of where he comes from and the environment he's in, right? What's interesting is how it starts out with a hook like, and I want you now with me, and I want you now with me, and then it just kind of starts describing shit, you know? It starts out with, I made a link with the Russian, 6-figure discussion, stiffness in public, my linen all tailored, my outstanding payment swift like Taylor. You just make a Taylor Swift line. You know, it's like, shit's, boy, I owe the man a beating, but don't watch what I'm making. Just know I put both the P's and op at the same time I put the pay and pagan. I was like, did he just make pay and pagan? Like, some of these lines I just never heard before. Mostly because it's UK shit, and I never even thought of that. But, like, you get the sense where in here he's, like, connected. He's bossed up. He's living, like, a fancier life. There's higher stakes in his shit, you know? And he's like, my location changes quicker than gears on a brand new Porsche. You know, like, things are different now. I gotta watch for the greed and the hatred. I'm saying who's on votes. We hit up and see who's on smoke when it's that time. You can run that shit right there, and it's cool. You can't hear like a bad line. And he keeps his wit going. And again, I feel like this one is a context painter of where he's at in life. Like, you get the sense that at one point he was doing some more illicit things. Now he's legitimized and he's doing some more proper or music-y things in his life. Now, I'm not trying to imply I know about his past. Sometimes guys are painting the pictures of their environment. Some guys are actually doing their things. But what really makes this song gangster as fuck for me, like really one of the nicest lines on the album, this thing's coming like Pokemon Go. Done. I couldn't believe he made a Pokemon Go bar right in the middle of this fucking dance ass.
I do not have one Neek as a friend. If it's beef on the end, then it's bleaker for them. This thing come like Pokemon Go, cause I see man once, never see him again.
Actually, that is kind of the experience of playing Pokemon Go.
The whole bar, please.
Well, I mean, if you're talking about the relationships you made while playing Pokemon Go, you would run into the cute girl, you'd have a little chit-chat, you would take her to the gym, you'd walk around for an hour and a half, you'd add her on Facebook, and you'd never talk to her again. Or you'd meet all these people, and you'd have a little thing, and then they'd be gone. I was like, that's pretty fun. That reminds me of my experiences playing Pokemon Go. It was a good time. I got a little less lazy because of that game. I don't know. Overall, what I like is the lack of chorus, this really like strong going song. I ain't got a memory when dad was around, still a child when I turned man out the house. Tell me what you know about a bag full of bills and your mom crying out saying, son, I can't take it. And then staring in the mirror for an hour with a tear in your eye like, I gotta go make it. You know? So it's like, have you watched your friends betray you? Have you seen all this shit? And you just... What I like about him, again, as I've said before, is that as he paints you this picture of his reality, of his memories, of the things that he's been through, you don't get this glorification so much as I have to be this way because of the world that's made me. And considering he's 20, it's like you don't... often hear this level of maturity out of guys this young. Something I've noticed. And I don't know, no chick can tell me about attitude. I got the girl from Screwface Capital, as in the girls he's surrounded with probably have a high level of attitude. I've heard some things that London ladies do have some attitude, so maybe it's the truth. And then it's just the outro, and it's like a minute of like this crazy beat flip up with the and I want and I want, and it's just almost like as he's painting you this picture, you're kind of left to think about that really open sample. He just kind of wants maybe better or more or an escape from this place, but this is where he comes from and this is his truth and shit. And I thought it was really like, damn, that's a good song. That was fun to listen to. So I gave it a 4.5 on 5. Really well made.
Well, I enjoyed the song as per what he was doing with it and the presentation, but I don't really think there was anything hard hitting for me besides the fact that the flow and the beat was kind of very just trappy. I do agree with some of the lines you quoted. I like when he went, man don't really want to walk to the shop or jump in the train because the ends got tension. One eye on the ops, two eyes on my friends, because at least my ops man knows their intentions. Like it's kind of like also in a way scary to see, like he's also dealing with paranoia in terms of trust and loyalty around his own crew and his own, and around him. So it's really more of that raw, authentic kind of like, this is where we're coming from. This is what I have to do to make money and survive. I like when he kind of reinforces his boss status. Like, I made a link with the Russians, 6-figure discussions, dinner in public. Like, oh, okay, you're out here making big movements. Like, that's really cool. It shows that he's determined and he's got that ambition to still keep going. But as well, I feel like he's also trying to show people that you got to move correct. There's another line like, I turn a loss to a lesson. I turn a curse to a gift and a blessings. Like, okay, that's pretty cool. You're really trying to look for the positive outlook of things. You're trying to find that other side and not really being negative or whatnot. I like how he kind of calls people out, like, but you wouldn't know that because you don't live this. What have you done for your siblings? I made sure that the family's sweet. So many days that I've starved myself just to make sure that my whole family eats. Like, that's
you're gonna say shit like, "There's not much to stood out to me." No, that's some power, right?
No, that is power. That line is power, and it also shows like the hunger and the determination that he has, and it really is brought out in the energy and in his voice and the way he carries himself on the track. I really enjoyed it. 4.5.
All right. The next song is called Environment.
Buds with fake comments, where everybody covers costs but never pays homage.
This is a particularly interesting song because it's describing his environment, but something in like an angle where not that many people do as well as he does. He's talking about what it is to be a rapper. And it starts off with, what do you think people see when they look at you, like his therapist? And then he's like, look, you see our gold chains and our flashy cars. I see a lack of self-worth and I see battle scars. Right off the jump, it's like, yo, you see this image put out. I'm seeing what caused this image to actually be, which is really just shit self-esteem. He has to be with 20 men when he wears jewelry. And you see it as gangster. I see it as insecurity. I've always found it weird. Like, I would never feel that comfortable with 50 fucking people around me at any given time. I never understood why people want so many people around them. Maybe it's safer. I don't know. Maybe I should just never buy expensive jewelry so I have to deal with that shit. Where I'm from, everybody wants to make it out, but nobody wants to see somebody make it out.
Damn.
It's like, fuck, that's a good way to put it. And that's not just where he's from. That's where I'm from too, man.
That's basically everyone. It's like you have your ambition, your goals, your dreams, and everyone's like, yeah, we support ambitions, goals, and dreams, but nobody really supports you.
Nah, they just want you to help them, and most people are like that, unfortunately. I mean, hell, we're all guilty of it. I mean, I'm trying to be less like that, but I still am. Or then you see the video of vixens and all their pearly whites. You don't see the dirty nights, long days, and early flights. You see the deals and think all these rappers laughing now. You don't get that if we weren't already, we're a target now. Shit, eh? You see all the groupies, girls, and think that they're heaven sent. I see 25 minutes worth of empty sex.
Hey.
And it's just like looking at the different perceptions. Like, yo, imagine your whole life is traveling and you go to these shows and all the girls want to fuck you, sure, but you can't find connections. And it's just a routine of almost like monotonous escapism.
I feel like there's kind of like, again, like maybe paranoia or the thought of like, girl, you wouldn't be sleeping with me if I was broke.
Or like,
You know?
champagne bottles and all the screaming girls. It's ironic how you'll never hear scream for help. Fucking hell, why do you think we're all going through the same thing? Depression when you make it, the pressure and the hatred. Your people talk about you, you can't say shit. Anyway, and he just really comes in. Only L's I'm hiding in my closet have a V after. That's how he ends it, you know, like how people have secrets and people are trying to destroy him, but the truth is all he has that's an L is a Louis Vuitton. But like, yo, I think this is a really great song about more of the reality of the life behind being a rapper, the kind of shit you hear about in the interviews and you hear about the stuff after. Only he's making, so instead of trying to be like, yo, my life's ridiculous, he's trying to say, yo, it looks a certain way, but it's really kind of what I see is this. And I think it's very honest, and I think, again, it's another kind of song we need more of. People who are saying, like, this isn't fun like you think it is. It's a lot of work, and it's really fucking hard, and it's depressing, low self-esteem, degrading shit where everyone's after you and nothing's simple. So maybe just kind of think twice about all this shit, you know? And I guess it's a 5. I thought it was powerful. I thought it spoke to me in a really significant way. And the little way the skit at the end of the song kind of asks him, okay, do you, like, you know, it's more relevant to the next song, but it just kind of ends asking him, like, if the people around you, when you see other people's lives and you hear their stories, does that inspire you in some way? Does that impact you? Right after talking about his current conundrum, it's fucking interesting. So I get this a 5. It's really well done.
I gave the song a 4.2. I do like the song overall. I think it's just... it's not really just my taste in terms of music wanting to listen to, but it's great though. Like the fact that he's kind of giving you that industry insider and giving you that point of view of like what music industry is kind of like and how there's always this other side, this always darker side to everything. It was a good song.
It's all right. I guess Chris doesn't have that much more to say on that
Not
one.
much to say on that
So
one.
why don't we move on to a song that once you hear, you may never forget, and that's Lesley.
Said it wasn't right to share. Her boyfriend, he was a mystery man. Didn't know.
Alright, this is 11 minutes. I didn't know it was 11 minutes at first. I was just listening to it at work. And I had this moment, well, I just was playing the album for the first time at work. And you're going through it, and then you're like, this is kind of long. And then I'm not bored. I'm actually really interested. And I realized I was like 4.5 minutes in of this 11-minute adventure. I'm like, that's fucking next level. All right. So I'm going to give you... You have to listen to the song to really get the full impact. I mean, his rhyming's on point. I'm just going to kind of summarize the story here because it's long, and I don't think we can really do this justice. But he starts off kind of describing how the world works in a strange way. Now, keep in mind, he's answering the therapist's question of, do you ever hear about other people's pain and trauma that inspire you? And he describes this moment where he's on the train. And he's taking it, and it just works out that every day he's on this 906 train, and he meets this girl, and how, he's talking about college, and she would talk about meetings, and she wants to leave. She hates what she does, but needs it, whatever. And she's like, doesn't know what she's doing for the weekend, and she's just like, I don't know myself, and it just kind of plays out, and it's kind of sad. And then we get to the verse 2. As the story gets a little bit deeper, and we find out that she used to be this vibrant, like happy, excited person, and now she barely goes out because her man's kind of possessive, and her friends want to help her, but nobody really knows how to intervene. She can't see it, but everyone else, it's clear as day. Her friend Hannah, who kind of went through something similar, she could kind of notice it a mile away. Turtleneck jumpers, makeup around the eye spots, all the signs were there that this dude's a little bit abusive. Lesley kind of downplays it. Lesley's the name of the girl that on the train, and we find out that the guy's name is Jason, and he's kind of like used to be like a criminal, and now whatever, he's a bad boy, he's illogical, and she's a good girl, and it's kind of like an opposites attract. And he was all excited until they had an argument, and then he just kind of ditches her, and she doesn't know more of the story, but that's kind of what it is. And then all of a sudden she lost her jobs, and it fucked everything up. And then we go on to the third verse because of the chorus kind of kicks in. Like she doesn't know right now. Oh, sorry. At the end of the second verse, it's like Hannah was there, and then Hannah's her friend that's taking care of her in that moment. And then when he runs into her, she kind of says the same thing she said in the first chorus, I don't know myself, only instead of it being about like the chorus about I don't know myself, like I don't know what I'm doing, like if I were to think about it, it's now I don't know myself as though I don't know myself the person anymore. And it's just like, oh shit, that's a different meaning, that's a lot darker. And then it gets even darker. I got nothing to live for. It's been raw. He's never been poor. There's no income. My boyfriend's gone. He finds out he's having a kid, and she's kind of 4 months pregnant, but isn't really accepting it, trying to reach out to dudes and shit, isn't really clicking on it. And then he goes and asks her again at the end of this, and Lesley, living in this gift called life, there's no better gift than the gift of life, so can you handle it? And now she doesn't know herself because she doesn't know if she can handle it. It goes back to maybe the first meaning of I don't know myself. Then after that, her perspective changes. Her baby's expected to drop. She went and told Hannah about it, and Hannah's like, yo, this shit's kind of real, yo. You got to be, like, straight up. You got to go and talk to Jason about it, you know, or whatever, deal with the situation. She's like, you and Jason are on again, off again. It's not, like, the best, but So Lesley doesn't tell Hannah that Jason is going out with her again. I listened to this song like 4 or 5 times. I wanted to really make sure I knew what the fuck this story was. And then Jason doesn't realize she's pregnant, so she's on her way to go tell him, and anyway, because she has some and she's just kind of realizes that she has like this fantasy of everything working out with Jason, so she's gonna go tell him, and she calls up Hannah and leaves the voicemail like, yo, Hannah, it's Les, call me back, I want to talk to you about the baby, whatever. And she kind of leaves that voicemail to Hannah on the phone. Then she's kind of describing how she used to be so fucking confident, but these days I swear that I don't know myself. And now we're back to the second definition of I don't know myself. Then in the 5th verse, because the shit just keeps going, Lesley was supposed to have a baby scan, but she left early, so I guess she wasn't on the train or whatever. She's trying to go see Jason. She takes a cab to go meet up with him, and she's feeling all excited, and she's kind of fantasizing about the little fantasy life with Jason all working out. But then she gets home or to his place, and she sees that there's some girl's shoes on the floor, and Jason's naked, and he's like, yo, hide in the closet. And then she goes up and she kind of she's like, yo, what kind of person would cheat on his pregnant girlfriend? And then Jason finds out she's pregnant. He's like, what the fuck? You weren't going to tell everything? And she's like, I don't want anything from you anymore. I don't want any love. Open up that fucking wardrobe. I want to see what that girl looks like. And she starts to try to open it, etc. And then Jason basically beats the shit out of her. And it's saying shit like, Jason pulling me from behind, now he's gripping on me, white flashes, eye gashes where he's hitting me. You know, like when you get pounded in the face and it flashes white. See, I just wanted to disappear. I wasn't living for me physically. I shut the fucking door as quick as can be. He's outside asking why I made him do what he did, using a kick to open up the room that I'm barricaded in. I'm feeling afraid, barricaded with a chair and a handle. I'm hearing sirens, but I just want to run away, but I can't. Jason's gone. By the time the police come, they come around and it just paints blood splattered everywhere. They don't understand what the fuck happened until they find the phone with the voicemail, and it repeats that thing from Hannah.
No, they find her in the bat, and they find her in the room.
Yeah, like broken and bloody, and she can't. She doesn't say anything. It literally goes like she can't say anything.
Well, no,
but she's really sharp pain where She's deep and distressed, and his meters above her head. If anything, she couldn't even say anything. But she's got this really sharp pain where her belly is, so they call an ambulance. Lesley didn't plan for this, so she's like, I'm in pain. She can't really say anything. Police are in the room trying to find a missing piece of this puzzle until they stumble, and so that's why I didn't want Chris to go first. I knew we'd mix up details. Then they find the phone in the wardrobe, and they hear the voicemail, which kind of gives them some clues as to what's going on. And then it just describes kind of the aftermath. She felt sick to her stomach. She started panicking, mind rattling, trying to understand what Hannah did, battling the shame because the situation's embarrassing. She's trying to fathom it, betrayed her by her own garrison. So I guess somebody talked about what happened, or Hannah came and told the cops and played the voicemail.
Hannah's sleeping with Jason.
Was it Hannah?
Yes.
Oh, I missed that detail.
That's the entire reason why she's panicking. Hannah is sleeping with Jason, which is why Hannah told her in the beginning she needs to speak with Jason, because Hannah's been sleeping with Jason. So when she found the voicemail, and that's why when Lesley calls Hannah on the voicemail and she leaves the voicemail, you're assuming they were basically fucking while she got the voicemail. And then all of this happened because she went to the x-ray scan, then she comes back. Well, she dips early, she comes back. They walk in. As she's walking up the house, as she's walking up the stairs, she hears Jason say, "Get into the closet."
Well, because it kind of makes it sound like she doesn't know who's Jason's fucking in that whole verse. That was the whole...
No, she doesn't know specifically who it is, but she knows there's somebody there, which is why she reaches for the closet.
But then
she hears
right,
him.
so she doesn't know who the girl is. I didn't take it like Hannah was fucking
No,
Jason.
I knew exactly it was Hannah. Once they got the voicemail, that's why she panicked. Hannah's the one who was there.
Yeah, but they play the voicemail like, "Yo, Hannah, it's Les. Can you call me back? I want to talk about the baby, you, me, Jason."
Why is Hannah's phone in his wardrobe?
Oh, okay, that makes sense.
She's at his place.
It didn't make sense. Okay, that's fair.
Now, granted,
this is an 11-minute song. Don't hate me for fucking that up. Okay.
And I'm mixing up details.
We mixed up other details. Still, then she fell sick to her stomach. She's panicking, whatever, and she's feeling all fucked up. And then Dave kind of comes back into the story and describes how fucked up she looks with her broken ass nose and her jawline shattered. And they said the baby was the only reason she's holding on. She's dozing off. Doctors get no response, so she's basically in like a coma and shit.
He's kind of like narrating the situation.
Yeah, well, but you also get the feeling like he went to go see her in the hospital or some shit like that.
I didn't get that feeling. I got more like, I mean, maybe. I'm just saying, I didn't.
I mean, he's just describing what happened to her, so how does he know? Because he almost like she told him about it, as what I took.
Could be, yeah, whatever.
Anyway, and then he kind of breaks the fourth wall a bit, and he goes, "You see that this time I'm taking out to tell you the story is more than a song or a track. It's a message to a woman with a toxic man. I'm begging you to get support if you're lost or trapped. I understand I can never understand, and I ain't saying that it's easy, but it must be right. Some of your sisters, aunties, moms, or wives are fucked aside. They will never touch on why I'm touched, etc. This shit's awful no matter what culture. It ain't normal. Men try and twist it, make it seem like it's your fault. In that train full of people you're taking, how many Leslies are riding from their Jason?" And then there's some of the girl singy shit. And then there's another little interlude about, like, you know, how he's kind of moved up a lot from his sessions, and it kind of ends like he's doing really well. But, like, yo, this song, I don't know that I'm ever going to forget this song. Like, it is...
The level of storytelling in this track is very, very good. At first, when I saw that it was an 11-minute song, I kind of got like a little annoyed. I was like, oh, for fuck's sakes, come on. But when you really listen to it and you get into his voice and you get into what he's saying and the story and the way he's building and the way he's using the chorus as Leslie's response and the way that everything connects, it's like you don't even realize the 11 minutes are going by. You are focused on that song. And that to me is very, very good. That is very creative. That is very determined to get a message out there. I mean, look, I have like a problem-solving mind, so I was trying to pick apart the pieces and try to build it all together, the whole song, until the end where it really hit me. It was like, because I've thought of this. You know, when I'm on a metro or on a bus, I kind of just look at people, or I look at women, or I look at men, and I'm just like, I wonder if they're coming back from a fight. I wonder if they're coming back from this. Like, just anything. You know, maybe I came back from, like, an argument and I'm just indulging in my own self-bullshit, you know, whatever. But at the end of the day, to see how Dave kind of brings that topic to life, where he's like, you know, next time you see a Lesley, maybe she's running from her Jason. It's like, shit, like, we all got problems. We all got issues. We're just, you know, maybe good at hiding it or whatever. It's like he's breaking down that security barrier that people kind of put up. Like, he's trying to inflict that conversation kind of happening. So that was cool. Honestly, I gave the song a 5 on 5. This is the song on here that I gave a 5 on 5 to. It's beautiful. It's beautiful in the sense of, like, the story, like, just the way it's presented, but it's also like life lessoning and teaching and
it's just like, he tells, like, there's a lot of stories about this type of shit, but I feel like the level of detail he goes into while crafting this story from the perspective of almost somebody listening to what this story is like on an outsider perspective, like establishing I can never understand through both the way he tells the story and directly saying it, but really showing something that is real that many people have probably dealt with in even an indirect way, and then ending it again, kind of like how he pointed out suicide wasn't the answer, but to point out, like, there is no justification for this. I don't give a fuck about your culture. This is wrong, and everybody needs to know it. And then it just, I don't know, man. This is a 5. It's one of the best fucking songs I think I've heard in I don't know, it ranks really high in like a list of impactful songs I've heard in my life. In my life, not just ever, like ever. Like I won't forget. It's like entrenched into my fucking brain. I don't know. I liked it a lot. It was really great. But yeah, I feel bad for the next song. It's called Voices.
Oh my love, I hear voices. Oh my love.
I don't really know how good or bad this song is personally, because it came after the last song and everything sounds worse after the last song. Like, it's lighter, it's easier to listen to. It sounds like a guy who constantly has people, or himself even, voices in his head, struggle, darkness, trying to pull him down, and he's fighting that to maintain like a more optimistic point of view, and he's struggling with being more like positive and whatnot, is I guess what I took with that. So like he's describing I gotta speak out, I know heartbreak well, man. I got her on speed dial, me and suffering, got the same pad, me and pain go way back, and it's hard to explain, but he hears voices. I hear voices when I sleep, and the voices say everything I need. I can't get them out. It just paints this picture, and it's fine. It's just, I was sitting there going, Lesley is like next level. This shit is just vapid by comparison.
Yep.
This shit is, and it's not even fair to this song. This song is actually pretty good. Lighter, kind of feels uplifting, like there's a little battle going on inside, and he wins, and he grew up, and he kind of is achieving a better life. If anything, it's like the experiences that he's seen has allowed him to embrace this higher understanding of trying to chase optimistic outcomes. So that's really cool, but it's so slow, like, all my life I hear voices, and it's like kind of calm, and it just, album placement wise, it's a little bit weird to go, because the song after it is a lot more like Lesley too. So it's maybe he was going too much heavy in a row, let's put this guy, but it's like sandwiched in between two seriously strong songs, and that made it hard to get my brain couldn't flip from serious to fun to serious or whatever back quick enough. However, the beat's really nice, really smooth and everything, and it's really well done. So I give it a 4.35, but I don't have a lot to say because I don't care about it as much as the other two songs.
I mean, I gave it a 4.2. I like the song. It was another, for me, I consider this to be like a radio type beat, like a radio type jam. Like, yeah, it's talking about the voices in his head and like maybe his mental illness or whatever. I don't want to label it as anything, but it didn't have like, I rather go back and listen to the whole storytelling. I'm still kind of in that vibe of like, shit, like you just put me in this mood, like, so it was different. But I honestly don't have much to say about it either. Like, I feel like the song itself is maybe just a break for the album, because I agree with you, Holden. Like, the next song is super serious, and maybe not like super serious, but it's pretty much more serious than a lot of the songs we've been getting on the album, and as well, it's sandwiched in between Lesley and the next track. So I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what I would think if maybe this was like another serious track, three serious tracks in a row, maybe have been a different placement on the album. I don't know. It's really tricky. I think this is just a hit or miss. It's either you're playing the album, you pass Lesley and you like it, or you're passing it and you're like, skip. That's really how I kind of feel about the track. I gave it a 4.2. Dave can rap. He is talented. The song is good. I would listen to it at a party aimlessly. Like, it's not bad.
It would have been good next to the songs about girls, but thematically it fits better here, like for the story, but the sound feels weird. I don't know if you guys get what I'm trying to say. Anyway, the last one is the other end of psychodrama, Drama.
I know it's fucked, I had to hold it up for mummy on my own. I know it's tough, I got the coldest blood.
This is like an interesting one. It starts off and it ends with his brother talking to him from prison. And it's really kind of like, he's just kind of describing some shit, like understanding that he, like man was saying, bruv, many nights man prayed, bruv, somewhere someone's gonna help me through this, man. Someone is gonna help bring the shit out. Time, it took a while for me to recognize, boy, who you were gonna send. And you know what, man? So I'm very proud. I'm very happy to see it's one of my own, innit? You know? So it's like he was desperate and he was feeling sad. He didn't know who was gonna be his salvation. But then he realized it's gonna be Dave, because Dave's coming through and now winning and shit. And it's almost like his brother giving him that appreciation, and he took that phone call. And then I kind of like wrote this response back to his brother on this album. I'm like, look, I don't know where to start, but I just done my first psychodrama, and I hope the world hears my craft. I'm excited, man. I pray you get to hear my craft from our childhood. Our mother didn't hear me laugh. I'm presenting you with the future. I don't fear my past. And it's like he's talking to his brother, like, yo, so I went through this therapy thing, this album process, and I'm done, and I'm feeling fucking proud of my shit. I hope the world likes it. I hope you hear it. Even though my moms didn't hear me smile much, like, now there's reasons. I'm not afraid of the past. The future's looking fucking bright. I ain't got a tattoo anywhere near my arms, but best believe on my sleeves is where I wear my heart. It's cheesy, but I like it because it's true. Do you know how easy it is to be a sinner? How many losses you need before you can be a winner? Reason with a criminal that needs to eat a dinner. Is it survival of the fittest, or is he a killer? Losing dad was big, losing you was bigger. Never had a father, I needed you to be the figure. And, and then kind of describes a little bit about what he's had to deal with and what he had to overcome, from treating women poorly to the different issues of growing up without a dad, only to like culminating at this point where like he's kind of winning. One of my favorite lines I forgot to mention was when he got a 99 in English because he doesn't know the meaning of rest. On the kind of meta way he goes, I didn't get 99 marks in English, I was faking it. I got 98 because I don't know what a vacation is. And, if you saw God, what would you say to him? If given the chance, would you have taken it? If you could rewind time, would you change it in it? Do you believe what an angel is? Or do you believe what the devil is? It's just like, it's almost like he's kind of hit this new elevation of consciousness where things are maybe working, and he's had time to really consider stuff, and he's just wondering, like, whether he would have gone back maybe and changed it, because as you mentioned earlier in the first song, it's through his pain, it's through all of these terrible fucking things and the darkness that he's been through that he's able to become the person who can save his brother and shit. And then it flows back into his brother, and he's just kind of hyping up like the first time he heard his song and on the radio, and it was a banger and he was excited. And then he tells the story about Samuel, where I believe so we asked Jesse, are these all the sons you have? And then they're still the youngest. He's tending sheep. He was like the lamest son, and it turned out that's the one that God picked. So it's almost like saying, bro, you're like Samuel. Maybe you're the last in line, maybe this and that, but like really you're the one that God picked to make it happen, and I appreciate you for who you are. And I'm like, all in all, I was like, this is a really strong way to end the album, deeply personal. And it's like the opposite of the first song. The first song, you're kind of getting that craziness of, I don't feel proper, but here it's almost like, I have a reason to live. And it's like this mostly because of shit, like his brother appreciating him and just kind of seeing the other side of it all, how this craziness shaped him into being this person, where it kind of ends his drama, and it may be a lot of drama in his life, but it turned him into like the man he is today. Anyway, I have it at 4.75. Dope track.
Nice. I agree. I like how he ended the album with this. I like how he kind of dedicated this to his brother in jail, and how he kind of had to grow up, how he felt experiencing that and going through that. I like how he kind of brought out the line about having to swallow a very bitter pill, and it's more like cyanide, watching his brother have to go to jail. Like, that was really kind of touching. Now, I think that this song itself is kind of just like, in a way, him being a little bit more personal and a little bit more honest with what he kind of goes through, and the fact that he's also kind of showing like a lot of the older people in my lives who are supposed to kind of guide me or whatnot, or not, that were never there. Like, it really kind of just reassures his point of being kind of alone. And really seeing that, and it hurts a little bit. Like, it hurts that it feels like he had to kind of guide himself and go and learn about, which makes him into the strong man he is today, and it was great to see that. I like lines like, I ain't got a vision of marriage or a wedding ring, it's world domination in music, or it ain't anything, I'm obsessed, focused on the objective, tell a Don, yes, disagree, I object, used to treat my women like an object, they really want a monster, come and see me, I'm the Loch Ness, settle for a lot less. Like, he's not even trying. What I kind of take that is like, he's self-analyzing himself, he's realizing that he used to kind of treat people a certain way, He's trying to change. He still kind of feels like he is a monster, so he's like trying to, you know, playing words with the Loch Ness on that. So that was cool too. But I like how he when he said settle for a lot less, like I feel like he's doing it for something different. Like he's not really doing it for money. He's not really doing it for all this. Like there's something else that he's like if you were to give to him, if it was like maybe love, a connection, an understanding, maybe an ear to listen to, a shoulder to cry on, he would settle for that as well. Like he's very kind of in a way humble, a little bit simple, we'll say. But I love the song. It's a 4.7. It was great.
Fair enough. And I think that brings us to the end of this album review.
Yep.
This project is fucking dope. Like, this is a 4.618 is what I gave it. I was blown away. Like, the kid's 20. I have to say that again because, like, sometimes I would expect something like this out of a dude 10 years older than him in terms of the level of knowledge and shit he's dropping. The rapping is next level. The writing is honest and open. The topics are diverse-ish. There's a couple of redundancies, but still, he manages to be witty and creative and fucking dope with it. It's like he paints you the picture of who he is, where he comes from. You get the sense of the type of person he is. And he just talks about some real shit. Like, really real shit. In a way that doesn't glorify or fake it. It's just like you somehow don't want to be a rapper listening to it because he manages to make fucking groupies sound kind of boring and vapid. And like a lot of honesty that I don't think a lot of people are giving. The production's pretty excellent throughout the project. It's diverse. It stays up. And except for that one song, the placement is really great on this project. And yeah, I really liked it a lot. I think as far as like this new age of rap is coming out, like it makes me so optimistic about like the next 5 or 6 years of people like this are continuing to drop. Like 2019 has been great as far as lyrics have been concerned.
Nice. Overall, I gave the album a 4.38. I really think it was super dope, super introspective. As my first actual Dave album, it was cool. It was cool to see a personal side of this artist. It was cool that he was like raw and authentic and able to give us his I guess unfiltered thoughts throughout the album. That's what I kind of got from a lot of this, that he wasn't trying to make anything super polished. It was just, I have shit to say, and this is how I'm going to say it, and this is what I want you to hear, and I want you to really understand what's happening in my brain. And I think that really shows a level of self-awareness and consciousness of, like, when you're ready to really just be yourself and kind of give up an act or whatnot. You know, I feel like the music might change a little bit. There's a different feel. So it was really cool. I think that, you know, everybody should take a moment to listen to this album. And I do agree that lyrics are coming back. And I think that they're starting on different sectors right now, like different parts of the world. And then they're going to come in soon. Mainstream's going to be back to lyrical.
All right. Thank y'all for watching. Totally appreciate it. Feel free to leave a comment with any thoughts or ideas or opinions you may have. We really appreciate you. Just wanted to say that again. Special thanks to the patrons: Ismail Good MC, Chris Prado, Super Old School 1994, Linda Williams, Carl J. And they support what we do. They helped us get a new camera. They all get to request albums. Most of them get to request albums and force our hand and tell us what to review. So if you want to support us and tell us what to review, you can check that out. Also, if you want to hit that subscribe button, it would be super duper cool. And if you want to hit that like button, it would also be super cool. But most importantly, if you want to leave that comment, we can have a little chit chat. That would be mad dope. Anyway, we appreciate you being here. It's always a blast. Thank you. And we'll catch you next time with another review. Peace. Oh yeah, it's Yellow Wolf next week. Motherfucking Trunk Music 3's finally coming. All right, peace.